Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you, Pijo, for the kind introduction. The first thing I want to share with you is I'm very pleased. It's an honor to be here, to be sharing this micro with these big guys, these big speakers over there. I'm not a big guy. I'm going to try to explain this to my way. When you fight against peers, it's not enough to say, peers is involved. Oh, yeah, it's peers. No, you really have to see the face of your enemy. When you are fighting against peers, you have to know what is the virus that is hitting you. So, I have prepared a video, and you are going to be the world first in show this video, record with a special camera that allow us to see the peers within your farm. This is so important. Pay attention to this video. You will see the resident virus first in the first video, and then you will see different routes of transmission of the virus within your farm, okay? Here you can see a farmer, and if you look carefully, you will be able to see the PRRS virus. Look at this glycoprotein here. Okay, let's move on. What's happened? How this virus works in the field. Your resident virus in your own farm. Okay. But the virus can get into your farm in different ways. I invite a farmer to my farm because the production parameters are quite good in my farm. Look my piglets. All is going perfect, growing fast, no problem of abortion. Oh, let's drink something this weekend. Okay, bye. Close the fence. It's not necessary to wash in or wash out. I don't mind. Okay, the outcome is the same. And now we have the trucks. We are in a hurry. We want to load this truck. And we know that the trucks can also vehicle the virus. Or even when the replacements are transported from the multiplier to your farm, can be infected during the transportation. So, it's important to check the washing, the disinfection, the dry of the truck. Don't allow the truck driver to get into the farm to avoid the new entry. Look, this glycoprotein is different. It's a new virus. It's PRRS, Iván. No, it's a new virus coming in your farm. What is going to happen with this new virus? It's going to kick your ass again. So, and you did what? Oh yes, I did this. I ran my PCR and it's positive. And then, what did you do? You return to your chair? What does it mean? It's PRRS, Iván. It's PRRS. But what about your biosecurity? You know that you can measure your biosecurity directly by using PRRS, and you are also able to see the improve of the biosecurity over time. This is a real example of a farm increasing the biosecurity within a year basics, and you directly see that your biosecurity has been improved. But sequencing can help you to indirectly measure your biosecurity, because you are measuring the virus coming in. If the virus are coming in, I don't mind what Padra or whatever vet tell to me. The virus are coming in your farm, so biosecurity has to be improved. So to the question, I'm going to try to answer the question, can sequencing help us to understand PRRS using 5 steps? I use 5 steps not only to deal with PRRS, I use with my big problem, that is my wife. And it works. When you have a plan, you are able to have more success than if you don't have it. So I'm going to try to tell us a story of the sequencing in Spain. So the step one, define the objective. Could be monitor the isolate within a farm, a company, or in an area. And in an understandable way, in a comprehensive way. What does it mean, this? I don't know. Step two, in the field, sequencing could be perceived as something that is for scientifics, or don't provide me nothing more than a PCR. So we have to be able to change this way of thinking. What are the constraints that we have to deal with when we implement sequencing in our company? We have to define the ORF to sequence. We are going to sequence the OR5, the OR7. Is the ORF to diagnose the same the ORF to sequence? What is the efficiency of getting a sequence from a positive result by a PCR? How to name the sequence? Could be stupid, but you have more than 600 nucleotides. You have to name it. And this question is very, very common. How often I have to sequence in my farm or in my company? This is huge. How can I manage this sequence? We have many information, tons of information here, but we need a tool to get all the information out and put it in the field. Okay? And now we are going to step 4, develop solution. We have to define the ORF to sequence. And here you can see different isolates. Western European isolate, genotype 1, and Eastern European isolate, genotype 1 also, in red and in blue. And if you compare these viruses, compare the OR5 or the OR7, you will notice that the variability, sorry about that, in OR5 is bigger than in OR7. So, could be OR7 more conserved in different viruses? Yeah, could be. So we decide to use OR5 as the ORF to be sequenced, okay? The next constraint to be solved is the ORF to diagnose the same ORF to be sequenced. Here I have do an exercise. Sorry about that. Yeah, Erin told us about the ELISA and how to measure the exposure and discretion. The ELISA measure the antibodies, anti-pairs. With the PCR, we detect the gene of the nucleotide ORF7 or the gene of the GP5, the ORF5, okay? Detect the different genes. And we have to define if we go to OR7 or OR5. And we did an exercise using 4 projects in a year basics. In this column, you can see the sampling points, the number of sampling points, close to 300 sampling points in a year, close to 6,000 samples in a year. And here in the next one, you can see the PCR positives of all 700 of these sampling points were positive. And if we run these positive results for all 5, we get only 67. So if we decide to go directly and run PCR for all 5, you are going to lose 35% of the positive result that you can get with OR7. So we have to diagnose in OR7, sequence in OR5. That means money, more money. but it is what it is. The next constraint to be solved is the efficiency of getting a sequence from a positive PCR. When we get a PCR for OR5, the efficiency of getting a sequence from a PCR of OR5 is close to 100%. But this is not the point. We want to know the efficiency from the positive diagnose in OR7 to get a sequence. And this number reduced to 64% due to this losing positive results due to probably to the primers and the more variability that OR5 has. How to name a sequence? We use this way of doing. We use the first two letters is the company name, followed by the day of the sampling, ending with the name of the farm. And then you can see a number 1, number 2, and number 3 corresponding to, if it's a 1, wean piglets, number 2, nursery piglets at the end of the nursery, and number 3, finishing piglets at the beginning of the finishing period. To the question, to the main question, how often I have to sequence? I didn't see your presentation previously, but I used this of Del Paulson, and here you can see the evolution of the virus. And the virus do what they want. Sometimes evolves very, very quickly, and sometimes maintain as the original. So, if you tell me I'm going to sequence once a year, I'm going to ask you, when you get a new sequence, can you answer this question? Is a new virus that has entered in your farm? Is the evolution of the resident virus? You can answer this question if you are consistent in sequencing. How often I have to sequence? The more often, the best, because you can see this evolution of the virus. We used to sequence every single PCR within our projects in Spain. This costs money, tons of money. How can I manage the sequence? We run the sequencing in all the single PCRs, and we have right now, in a year working with this, 700 sequence, corresponding to 50 projects of 80,000 cells. Only in a year, only in 50 projects, we have all this amount of sequence. So how can I manage this? The information is here. When I work in the field, I used to store the sequence in a folder and doing nothing with this. But there is a lot of information inside. We need a tool. We need a powerful tool. And the tool is Bioportal. Bioportal was created for UC Davis in the US to monitor foot and mouth disease. BI, since 2010, has invested more than $2 million in the development of this epidemiological tool. It's near to be real time. You can see the evolution of the sequence in your farm, in a company, in an area, or even if we have enough consensus worldwide. I'm going to share with you two examples of the use of Bioportal in Spain, real ones. You will see if it's necessary or not doing that. Here you have, this is a big company. They have 3 farms that broke in winter, the same month or close to being the same month. The replacement is internal replacement. The semen source is negative. The only things that could match the Dodge are the trucks and the vet. I received a phone call of the bosses asking me to use BioPortal and try to figure it out if these farms are sharing the virus. The day after the meeting, the vet called me to ask me what are the results. And I say, okay, you can wait a day more. And I feel like a boss. I have the power of his job. I'm a very bad person. When we compare these, well, we have to compare the isolate of this farm with all these two, and again, okay? So here you can see the result. Here is the first farm, comparing not only with the two farms, with all the sequence within the company. And you can see that the closure strain in the company has 11% different. The second farm that broke, again in January, we get 9% different comparing with the rest of the sequence that we have in our database. And the last one, again in January, we get again 11% different. So, the end of this story, you can monitor the biosecurity within the company by using BioPortal. This example has a happy ending. The web is still working in this company. So I like the happy ending. So. Second sample, 2 farms working with VI, applying 5-step process, but with a very poor biosecurity measured by PADRA, very poor biosecurity. And here you can see an Excel file showing the stability within the time, within the mouth, with the mouse. Okay? So red is bad, green is good. We follow the ASB classification, so we take every month 30 pitlets and we run 6 PCRs. The more PCR positive, the worse, okay? That was the phylogenetic tree at the beginning. Here you can see the sequence at the beginning of the project. You can see that this small farm get the stability very fast, and the piglets run, grow very fast. All people think that the farm was negative. Some colleagues did some feed trials in these farms and called me, what are you doing in this farm? The piglets are growing very fast. Okay. Here you can see in April, in this farm, that again, we got 6 out of 6 PCR positives. We go into BioPortal and we get this, a new introduction of virus in this farm. Now the bosses started to believe that biosecurity had to be improved. But the more amazing thing that happened here occurred in May. This farm that was stable at that time point became unstable. No big drama. No abortions, just PCR positives. A little bit increase of the mortality in the lactation period. Now the bosses call me and tell me 5 steps doesn't work. And I say, what this means? We run again the sequencing and get this. In February, we get a sequence in the unstable farm that was related, very close related, to the one in May in the stable one. So we started to ask the employees what's going on. We found that the manager was the same in the two farms, but the manager told us, Ivan, I only go to this farm to check the pregnancy. At the end, he admitted that she was sharing the ultrasound scan in the same day. And I asked him, why? Because I want to reduce cost. I don't want to ask the boss for a new ultrasound scan. And I said, oh my gosh, this could occur every day, and no one take care of this. Bioportal can help you to detect this violation of the biosecurity. And now we have this amazing tool. I love this because PRRS is not the bottle. It's all around the virus, and this can answer a lot of questions. The distance between the farms, 25 kilometers, not the point, was the sharing of equipment between the farms. Now, all these had been changed. They are building showers. Every manager managed only one farm, at least. The trucks, all is being implemented. It's amazing how this can show the bosses that you have to implement biosecurity in your farm, because it's impossible to see the PRRS in your farms. In my video, it's possible because the very good camera that I have, but in the field, it's impossible. So to the question, can sequencing help us to understand PRRS? When you have someone that is kicking your ass every time, I really want to see the face of your enemy to get the control of it. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
One or two questions for clarification. Yeah, probably could be there.
Ivan, thank you. I wanted to ask you, we did a lot of sequences ourselves in the Netherlands.
Yep.
But because we wanted to reduce costs, we said if you have positive PCRs pooled, so 6 pools of PCRs, if you have any positives, take the pool with the highest viral load, sequence that one. And I found out that you sequenced every pool. So there's 2 questions. The one question is that a wise decision only to sequence the pool with the highest viral load? Is that a good representative of what is going on? And the other thing is, there also could be 2 strains in one pool. And how does that affect your sequence?
Okay. I'm not an expert in this. I will say that we sequence every single PCR. I don't mind the city value, because sometimes we found two strains, or you will be able to find even the vaccine, and the vaccine never exists with a city very high. Sending a pool or individual sample, I prefer to send individual sample. Even in individual sample, you will find two isolates in it. The lab that I work with is able, he said that, I have to believe it, that she can detect two molecular species by 2 peaks, or I don't know why, within a sample. But this problem increases if you send directly the pool. You have a huge decision, but you have to do it.
Okay, thank you, Ivan.
Thank you so much.
Very good.